Ever set a default value in Microsoft Access and then wonder why it works everywhere except one form? In this video, I'll show you exactly why that happens, how forms can quietly override table defaults, and how to track down the setting that's causing the confusion. Welcome to another Tech Help video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I'm your instructor, Richard Rost. Today, we're going to talk about how to fix default values not working in your Microsoft Access database. Now, this video is mostly for beginners because I'm going to show you a feature that beginners often miss or didn't know in the first place. And then toward the end, I'm going to show you a developer reason why this might happen and a cool trick to get your default values to work in your code. So I got something for everybody. Today's question comes from Miles in Wilmington, Delaware, one of my Platinum members. Miles says, I'm using Access at work and took over a database that someone else built. Isn't that fun? In one of the tables, there's a default value that works as expected on most forms, but there's one form where the different default value appears when I add a new record. I'm not sure why this is happening, and I'm wondering if I'm missing something about how default values work in Access. Yep, you probably are, Miles, and that's okay. This is something that a lot of beginners miss. So first off, if you're new to Microsoft Access, go watch my default value video. It'll explain what default values are and how you set them. All right, here I am in my Tech Help free template. This is a free database you can grab off my website if you want to. And in here, I've got a customer form, right? Different customers and orders and a whole bunch of other stuff. But we got the customer table right here. Now, in the customer table, we've got the state field. Okay, and in here, we can set a default value for the state. Let's set it to Florida, FL. Okay, now save that. And if we were to just work in the table adding records, if I come down here to a blank new record, you can see there's the new record. That default value for Florida is right there. So any new record that I create, blah, 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 you'll see Florida and it pops up on the next new one as well. Okay. Now, if I go to the customer form, which is where your end users should be working, right? You don't want to give end users access to your tables and stuff. But if you go to a blank new record right there, you'll see there's Florida. You can see I've also got USA set as the default for the country. Okay, now here's what a lot of beginner Access developers miss. You can have a default value in the table and in the form. Now, I don't recommend doing this. I recommend you stick to one and be consistent. All right, I try not to have default values at the table level and at the form level. It gets confusing. But you can also come in here for the state, right? Go to data, go to default value, and put something different in here, like New York. Now, save it, close it, and if I open up this form and go to a new record, look at that. The default value for this form is New York, and that will override the default value setting, which is still in the table for Florida. If you come down here to the end, right, there's Florida still in there. And if you have other forms, right, like your customer list form, it's based on the same table, but if I go to a new record, look at that. It's still set to Florida. Every form can have a different default value in it. That's why I say it gets confusing. I like to stick to the tables most of the time, or don't put default values in your tables and just put them in your forms. But then you got to remember to copy it to all the different forms. There's lots of different ways to do it, lots of different reasons, but that's why you might see different forms giving you different default values. So I do recommend pick one way and stay consistent if you can. Either use all table default values or try to use all form default values. If you got a lot of different forms that are based on the same table, then you could put the default value in the table. But if it's just one form, well, okay, put it there. Now, developers, this one's for you. You can also set default values in code, right? Like let's say this credit limit here, right? I can come into here, design view. You can go into the forms events, like the onload event, for example. Okay, and in your form load event, let me move this. There we go. In the form load event, you can say credit limit dot default value equals, let's say, 1,000. Okay, save it, close it, and now when I open this form and go to a blank new record, you can see there's a default value in there. Okay, now, and Miles, pay attention, because if you've inherited a database from someone else before you, you might not know. Maybe they did this, right? And if you come in here to credit limit, you're not going to see a default value in here. So that's also where it could be hiding. Okay, go to the forms properties, go to the events, see if there's any event procedures in here. If so, click on that little dot, dot, dot button and look for anything in here called default value. Okay. Why do it this way? There's a million reasons why you might do it this way. I've done it this way in a lot of my databases. It could be based on some other criteria. For example, who's the logged in user? Where's the location of the office? There's a million reasons why you might want to set the default value programmatically using VBA instead of just hard coding it into the form. I've got whole other videos on you can set up default system value tables, right? So if you give your database to another office of yours, and they're in Texas and you're in California, you just change the system values in the system defaults table, and it'll change all the default values around the entire database. So there's a lot of reasons why you might load this in code, and that could also be the reason why that you can't find it. All right? If it's not in here, if it's not in the forms design, go look in the VBA. And while I'm in here, I want to mention another trick for the developers, because I'm all about giving you guys the tips and tricks. That's the whole point of the Tech Help series. Check this out. Let's say you want to set the state default value to Pennsylvania right here. Okay, let's try that. Save it, debug, compile, works just fine. Now, come out here, open up the form, go to a new record, and, what? I'm getting a pound name error. Why is that? Pause the video, my advanced developer students, and see if you could figure that out. It looks fine. The credit limit worked just fine. What's going on here? And see, this is why, even if it's a beginner video and you're a developer student, you should still watch every video, because I sneak all these cool little tips and tricks in here. Okay? Did you pause it? Did you figure it out yet? You got it? Okay. The problem is, here's the problem. I'm going to tell you what the problem is. The default value in here, when you type in something like Florida, look what happens. Access automatically puts those quotes around Florida for you. I'll zoom in for you. Shift F2. See? That's what's actually in that field. Since it's a text value, the default value has to be in quotes. That means if you're going to set this value in your code, you got to include the quotes too. And what does that look like? Well, that looks like this. That looks like double quotes there, double quotes there. Looks confusing, I know. Got a whole separate video on double quotes. So if you're a beginner, don't worry about this. This is a little hidden trick for the developer students. But now, save it, debug, compile, close it, open it, go to a new record, and there's your value. Okay? Those double quotes matter in that default value property. Yeah, I know. That used to throw me for a loop all the time, too. Okay? So there you go. You've got your table default value. Each form can have its own set of default values. Look in the properties for the controls. And if not, if you still can't figure it out, check the VBA code. If you inherited this database from someone else, they might have done it that way. I do that way a lot myself all the time. So that's going to be your Tech Help video for today. I hope you learned something. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button right now and give me a like. Also, be sure to subscribe to my channel, which is completely free. And make sure you click that bell icon and select all to receive notifications whenever I post a new video. Do you need help with your Microsoft Access project? Whether you need a tutor, a consultant, or a developer to build something for you, check out my Access Developer Network. It's a directory I put together personally of Access experts who can help with your project. Visit my website to learn more. Any links or other resources that I mentioned in the video can be found in the description text below the video. Just click on that show more link right there. YouTube's pretty good about hiding that, but it's there. Just look for it. Now, if you have not yet tried my free Access Level 1 course, check it out now. It covers all the basics of Microsoft Access, including building forms, queries, reports, tables, all that stuff. It's over 4 hours long. You can find it on my website or my YouTube channel. I'll include a link below you can click on. And did I mention it's completely free? And if you like Level 1, Level 2 is just $1. That's it. And it's free for members of my YouTube channel at any level. Speaking of memberships, if you're interested in joining my channel, you get all kinds of awesome perks. Silver members get access to all of my extended cut Tech Help videos, and there's hundreds of them by now. They also get one free beginner class each month, and yes, those are for my full courses. Gold members get the previous perks plus access to download all of the sample databases that I build in my Tech Help videos. Plus, you get access to my code vault where I keep tons of different functions and all kinds of source code that I use. And gold members get one free expert class every month after completing the beginner series. Platinum members get all of the previous perks, plus they get all of my beginner courses, all of them from every subject, and you get one free advanced or developer class every month after finishing the expert series. And you can become a diamond sponsor and have your name listed on the sponsor page on my website. So that's it. Once again, my name is Richard Rost. Thank you for watching this video brought to you by accesslearningzone.com. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something today. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you next time.